Quit trying to be Superwoman. No one actually looks good in spandex, unless it's Spanx.
It's morphin' time!
Today, we're going to talk about how to become a successful woman in business and what it actually takes.
Absolutely, I've got time to talk right now.
I remember launching my business about 8 years ago and being terrified of failure. I was 6 weeks away from having my 5th son and had a bunch of little ones. They ranged from, newborn to 10. And my husband was working nights and he was going to school during the day. So I felt like I was doing parenting a lot on my own.
Boys, the bus is here in 10 minutes.
And when I started my business, my big goal was if I could earn 6 figures being at home with my babies, like that would be the ultimate dream and the ultimate goal and the ultimate just everything.
You're amazing.
And when I launched the business, I was equal parts terrified and excited. But I didn't focus on results in the beginning. I didn't focus on looking like I had it all together for anyone else. I didn't focus on trying to create the appearance of success, which we see so often today. So many women feel like they have to look like they are successful and they have it all together, but the back end is a hot mess.
Separated ASAP.
I just focused on doing the exact things that I'm going to share with you today and just being really consistent at building a strong foundation for my business. And I remember the moment where I came up for air and looked around because I really, honestly, I felt like some sort of a plow horse, like just in my field, just going down the row and like plowing. And one day it was like I lifted my head up and I looked around and I was like, oh my gosh, I have marketing systems. I have my whole sales process is built out. I have a couple team members. And you know what? I also am doing like $20,000 months. It was about 9 months from when I started, when I had that moment. And I realized that we were going to cross the 6-figure line that year. And I mean, it was a really emotional moment for me because that had been my dream. That had been my vision. It's just, could I be at home with my family and be a really involved mom and still be able to do 6 figures? And I didn't know if it was going to be possible or not. But when I hit that point, all of a sudden I realized that it wasn't that I was somehow more talented or capable than everyone else. It was just that I had followed a really proven process and I had been consistent with it. And when I did that, it generated that success. The second year, I remember thinking, okay, that's pretty cool. We did 110,000. I wonder if we could double it this year. And we did in June.
Wow.
We hit 440,000 our second year. That year, my husband actually was able to retire from the post office and come and work with me full time. We bought our dream house on 10 acres out in the middle of nowhere, Northeast Georgia. We got goats. We started having so much quality family time. And it was like my boys didn't even remember all of those years when they rarely saw their dad. And I think that's probably the biggest gift that my success has given to my family is having their dad around and being a very present, hands-on father figure in their lives. So what does it really take to be successful in business? It's not as hard as you think it is, but it does require more than like your natural human lazy self wants to give. And so if you can find that sweet spot in the middle, oh my gosh, amazing things can happen.
I would be really good at it.
So I'm going to share with you how I got there with these 3 things: determination, the right support system, and the right strategy and systems inside of my business. And stick with me because I'm also going to share with you at the end the one thing that I see women do frequently that sets them up to fail from the very beginning.
That is so sweet.
Becoming a successful woman in business, honestly, it requires a couple of things. I think number 1 is determination. Like, you've got to be there's a lot of challenges that you will go through in the process of growing your business, and it's not always going to be easy. And there have been many moments where I'm in the middle of challenge and there's this thought in the back of my mind that's like, I don't really need to do this. Like, I could go get a job, I could do something else. But years ago, I really took out all of the exit plans from my life. It was like I burned the bridges and there was no way to go back. And so I think that determination is probably the number one thing, because the reality is that's different from, I think this is different from men in business. Men in business, their primary thing is to work, to provide. A lot of how they define themselves is defined by their career and their profession. And as women in business, we define ourselves in so many different ways. So like I could just be a stay-at-home mom and be incredibly valuable. I could just go get a job for somebody else and be incredibly valuable in their organization. I could run my own business and be incredibly valuable in my organization. But the reality is I don't define myself by any one of those things. There's a lot of desire when things get hard to just shift into one of the areas of our lives and be successful there rather than stick it out and do the hard things. So I would say determination is number one.
I really, really want this job.
The second thing I would say that it takes to be successful as a woman in business is really a support system and a support network. Because you cannot, I don't know if you guys have studied feminism at all, but they talk about the mental load in feminism, that one of the reasons why women still continue to have a wage gap is that even though they have entered the workforce, they still have the mental load of all the responsibilities that have to be done at home. Like they have to keep track of what they need for groceries. They have to keep track of who needs to go where and when the appointments are and when the bills are due and all of those different things. So they're trying to grow their business, but at the same time, they've got all of these different things that are constantly weighing on their mind. You have to actually get rid of the mental load. So for me, when I was newer in business, that looked differently at different times. Sometimes I would, have someone in my home. That was my favorite. Have someone in my home who would do all of the chores and be responsible for the kids. Because guys, as moms, we do that. So I didn't want to spend the whole day where someone else is taking my kids to the park and taking them to story time and playing with them. And then I get done and I have to fold the laundry and I have to do the dishes and I have to do all those things. So I basically hired someone to kind of be the backup mom and be the household manager. And they can do that. They can take care of kids and take care of the house at the same time. In my business, I've had to give people roles, not just responsibilities. Responsibility means I have to tell you everything you have to do. A role means you're responsible for the outcome and you get to decide what you need to do in order to produce that outcome. So having the right support network in place so that my mental load is not so heavy has been, I think, probably one of the most important things, because I am not Superwoman. I cannot do it all. When I try to, I just end up stressed out and burnt out. And so it is really in everyone's best interest if I have the right support network in place.
You got me.
Honestly, the third thing it's going to take is you have to build structure inside of your company. You need the right structure. You need the right strategy. There are so many entrepreneurs, but particularly women can be really guilty of this, that they build their business around their efforts and their talents. And that's it. So everything that you do in business literally becomes you doing the work, and you are talented to do the work, and that's it. So every time you pause, every time you get sick, every time you have a baby, every time, any of these things happen, that's just normal parts of life, your business will go down and then you have to build it back up. And that start, stop is really keeping you from ever hitting that point of momentum, that critical mass where things just move simply and easily. So your business needs to be structured well. And can I just point out a pet peeve? Are we close enough besties that I can point out a pet peeve? I have never heard a man say, I just want to start this business and make a little extra money on the side. Like when a man starts a business, they start it with the intention that it's going to be successful. And that's the goal. That's the end result. Far too often when we start businesses as women, we start it with the idea of it being small. And I get why we do it. It's because we already know how much is on our plate, and the idea of adding one more big thing onto our plate just feels too heavy, and it feels like everything's going to fall crashing to the floor. And I get it. But starting the intention with a small business that's going to make a little extra money where you're going to dabble is creating an intention that you will always have a business that relies completely on you. The business won't have strategy, it won't have structure, and it's not going to grow because it just wasn't set up correctly. So if you're going to start a business where you're only working a few hours, still start the business with the intention that it is going to be successful. Put the right strategies in place, put the right people in place, get the right structure so that you can grow something that is going to be worth the time, energy, and effort.
Beautiful.
If you can't tell, I am pretty passionate about helping women in business. So I want to give you a couple gifts today. Number one is I want you to go check out another video that I made on helping you to be able to set and achieve your short-term goals. And then number two, I want to make sure that you have the right strategy and the right structure in your business. And I'm telling you, when you dial this process in, it creates miraculously good results. Seems miraculous to you. To me, it seems expected. I expect that when your sales, your marketing, your systems, your strategy are all dialed in, I expect you to have a 6 or 7 figure business. And I've seen it happen time and time again. So go take my Sales and Marketing GPS and you can answer questions about where you're at, what you've got going on, what's working, what's not. And my team and I will customize an improvement plan just for you and review it with you so that you are very clear on what strategy you should be using to go to your next level in business. I know you're going to watch more videos. You might as well invest in you and invest in your business. So go check out the next video.